Sure. If we think about the core interests that I think American foreign policy should be seeking to protect, it's basically the American people, of course, our physical security, but also more broadly, our freedoms and our prosperity. And of course, those two things are linked. And if we think of the greatest danger to that, it's the agglomeration of power outside of the United States by some other state, basically, who have so much power in the international system that it could undermine our way of life, our economic security, and so forth. And if we look at the international system, economic productivity, which is the source of power in the modern world, is not randomly distributed. It's clustered in a few key regions. But by far the most significant of those is Asia, and that's only becoming more so. It's going to be well over 50% of global GDP going forward. Is that a concern? Well, yes, because by far the other strongest state in the international system is in Asia, which is China. It's roughly about the same size as our own economy. And increasingly, I think it's pretty obvious or evident that they are pursuing what I think of as regional hegemony, which is dominating Asia and from that position becoming globally preeminent. And that would have really very serious and I think awful consequences for the American way of life.
Could you give maybe just a couple of concrete examples? How would that affect Americans' lives if China were to dominate the region?
Sure. Look, I think we'd become a lot poorer and a lot more insecure in terms of our jobs, and we'd become less free. And I don't think we have to speculate so much anymore because you can see what the Chinese are doing to the Australians right now. They're using their economic power to try to get the Australians to change their own domestic legislation, constrain free speech, foreign interference laws, et cetera, because the Australians had the audacity to call for an independent investigation of the origins of COVID-19. There's a lot of debate right now in the United States about what the proper role and structure of the social media companies is. We all know that they're really important. People have different views around across the political spectrum of how to deal with that, but we're all presuming that Americans will be able to chart our own course. But if China dominates the global economy and is the gatekeeper for the world's largest market area, that will not be the case. American social media companies will basically become subsidiaries or something of Chinese companies.